This happened back when I was still in college. Our group had gone on a wilderness camp as part of an outdoor program. The weather was chilly, and we had planned a night of campfire dancing, singing, and stories. I was supposed to help gather firewood, and I started off with the others, but the natural beauty of the forest pulled me in. Before I knew it, I had wandered far from the group, completely alone. Suddenly, the sky darkened with storm clouds and heavy rain began pouring down. The thunder was deafening, so I knew hiding under a tree was unsafe. I sprinted in one direction, hoping to find shelter, when I spotted a large building made of red bricks. It was glowing with warm light, and from afar it seemed full of people. I ran inside, relieved, and nearly bumped into a beautiful nurse. She looked me over and said kindly, "You're soaked. You'll catch a cold. Head to the storeroom on the left. Tell whoever's in there that Sister Julia sent you for dry clothes." I just stood there, stunned, staring at her. I must have looked ridiculous because she laughed and said, "Close your mouth before a mosquito flies in, and hurry!" Still dazed, I nodded and headed where she directed. But just a few steps in, I felt a hand on my shoulder. I turned and saw a man in an old army uniform, smiling at me. "I'm Captain William," he said calmly. "This is a military hospital." His tone made me feel oddly safe, and I explained to him what Sister Julia had told me. A mysterious smile crossed his face. "So, you've met Sister Julia already?" "Yes. Why?" I asked, confused. "Oh, no reason," he said with a half grin. "Come on, I'll get you those dry clothes." He led me to a large room surrounded by green curtains. A bed stood at one end, a sofa across from it, and a table in between with two glasses, a bottle of brandy, and a couple of magazines. From a big closet, he pulled out a blue pajama set and motioned to the bathroom. As I changed, something on the wall caught my eye. Blood splatters. And then when I looked in the mirror, my reflection had no head. Panicked, Captain William asked, "What happened? Hey, you never even told me your name." I I need to leave. There's something wrong with your bathroom. The mirror, and there's blood on the walls." "Wait," he said in a firm voice. "So you saw it all?" "What do you mean?" I asked, my voice trembling. "You can't leave now, not until I tell you something. Something no one else knows." I was terrified, but his tone suddenly softened. "You don't need to be scared. I'm a soldier. I'm here to protect, not harm. Come, sit with me. I'll tell you a story. When I'm done, I'll drive you back to your camp myself. It's far. You might not make it on foot." There was something calming about the way he spoke, so I sat down beside him. Captain William began his tale. "Years ago, enemy spies disguised as soldiers brought one of our own wounded men back to us. He'd been missing for weeks. We welcomed them without question, thinking he'd finally been rescued, but it was all a trap. Later that night, they set off a massive explosion. The entire hospital was destroyed in seconds. No one survived." I interrupted. "But the hospital looks brand new." Captain William ignored me and continued. "Those bloodstains, they belong to the doctors and nurses who died that night. But it's not a ruin. This place is still standing." That's when he gave me the most unsettling smile I've ever seen. "And how did you survive?" I finally dared to ask. He laughed deeply. Then, locking eyes with me, he said, "That attack happened just 10 years ago, but I've been dead for 50. That's the last thing I remember. When I opened my eyes, I was surrounded by my classmates and our professor. My head felt wet, and they all looked relieved. "Thank God you're awake," my professor said. "You wandered off so far, we had to organize a search." They told me an army man had found me unconscious and brought me back in a jeep. He said he had urgent business and couldn't stay, but I'd explain everything. I whispered, "Was his name Captain William?" My professor nodded slowly. I asked the group to come with me to the direction the jeep had arrived from. After much convincing, they agreed. The next morning, we hiked through the woods and arrived at what was unmistakably a charred, ruined building, crumbling walls overgrown with vines. Above the broken gate, a barely legible stone read, "Army Hospital." And that was when I knew everything Captain William told me was true.